Good morning. Welcome to church. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. You can get involved by going to our YouTube chat line, and whatever your questions or comments are, I'm going to respond to them today, especially the good ones. So get ready for it. And good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank y'all for coming. Couple things. They had the Women's March yesterday. You hear about that? But I have no idea what happened yet. I didn't watch it, I didn't go to it or anything, so I don't know what happened. I do know that the president tweeted out something like, it's nice. What did he say about the March thing?
It's a beautiful day out there. Go celebrate the success the country had or something.
Give it to Irvin since you're already there.
He said it's a beautiful day in Washington, D.C., and he's so happy to see all these women come out to celebrate all the great things he's done for the country. No unemployment, great economy.
Cut back on taxes. Okay, so my question is, what is faith? That was my biblical question for this week. And I want to get to that. And also, I want to, what else? Okay. That's what I want to deal with today. Unless you have questions or something you want to ask me before I get rolling, because I like for you to come with questions or testimonies or something where I just don't preach at you all the time. Because one of the reasons you're here is that you've gone to those other churches and all they did was read the Bible, quote the Bible, preach at you, send you home, and years go by and you have the same problems, not really overcoming. So anybody have anything? Yes, ma'am. Wait for the mic there.
I went to a funeral.
A funeral?
My niece's funeral yesterday, one of them.
Oh, okay.
And I realized in the funeral how sick all my family is. I mean, there's a lot of mental people.
A lot of mental?
Mental people, young too. And I had this niece that was there, and she was drunk.
Drunk at the funeral?
At the funeral, and Ambrosia was there. Remember, I brought her a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Ambrosia was there, and she hates Ambrosia because Ambrosia is from a third man with her mother had kids, three men, and her mother used to favor those kids. So she was.
Put the mic here. You holding it up to God.
I'm sorry. She kept going outside, and I think she was taking a drink every little while, and then she would come in, and she would go straight to Ambrosia and pull her hair, and be real cruel to Ambrosia.
Amazing.
And she kept coming to me and kissing me and getting my wig all full of whatever. And I had to be strong with her and tell her, stop it, but she wouldn't stop it.
So you guys had a good time at the funeral.
Well, I didn't want to go for that reason, but I did go because that niece had just a few kids, and she took them away.
Family lives are messed up nowadays, that's for sure. All in the name of Jesus.
And so I tried to talk to her older son to tell her that there was answers, because he was sounding like he wanted to know,
How old is he?
He's 40.
Wow.
And never been married. He has 2 cats. And I asked him, how come he didn't get married? He's just too much trouble. And so, anyway, what happened was that I started to tell him, because he wanted to know things about, there are answers, and there are places to go that will tell you the truth. And he was listening, and he took that information down, and he wanted to find out more about it.
Would you like some water? Robert, get him a water, please. He'll get you water.
But Jesse, when I started talking to him about things that I heard, maybe I don't know them deeply enough.
Right.
Because after I started sharing with him and he was listening very intensely, I started getting anxiety.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. And I was wondering why I didn't get it. I think I exaggerated a little bit.
Had you gotten upset at the funeral of the other people?
No, I didn't get upset.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I was wondering why.
All that hell in you, that's why.
Yeah, I know that, but
But
I-
it's no big deal, though.
it's no big deal.
No. Don't make it a big deal.
But maybe I shouldn't speak up. That's what I was thinking.
No, don't be thinking that.
No?
No. If the answer's not given to you, don't come up with any answers.
Okay, because it just came out of me.
Right.
You know?
No problem at all.
And when I
So
left,
don't make it a big deal.
when I left, I said, maybe I shouldn't come. That's a big old thing going on.
No, funerals can be fun.
Hmm.
Let me ask, do you know what faith is, since we're talking about faith? Do you know
Well, I
what it
only
is?
know what I hear other people say.
Right, but you don't
about-
really personally know what it is.
No, I don't. I had an experience, I don't know if that's faith, when I got divorced, that everybody thought I was going to lose a case because I'm in kind of the situation. And what happened, it turned around and came in my favor, everything. But before I
It
went to...
always goes in the woman's favor.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, when I left, I wasn't expecting anything.
Right.
You know, I was just whatever you will, and
That's
everything turned good for me.
Okay.
So that's what I think is faith. I don't know. More than that.
Okay. Yeah, what is faith? First of all, do you know what it is?
I do know that I tend to fight it.
You fight faith?
Yeah, I do
How do you
because
fight faith?
well, with knowledge and anger.
Oh, and so what is faith?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
I don't really know.
So how
I
do you
have-
know you're fighting it?
Well, because there are times when I sense that I should just sit back and be quiet about something, and instead, I want to learn more about what I should be doing.
Oh, I
You know,
see.
there's a sense. I don't know how to call this, but you can fill your brain with knowledge, so you feel relaxed about what you got to face.
Right.
Then when you're there, you go, it's not doing me much good.
Oh, okay.
I look at it that way. So there are times when I've used it, and when I've experienced faith, and it tends to be moments when I just don't know what to do, and things kind of go in the direction that they should, whether it's for me or not.
Right.
It seems to be irrelevant. So I've done that, but it's sort of a anyway. I don't really know.
Oh, okay. Who knows what faith is? You know what faith is? Right here. And the rest of you don't know what faith is. Interesting.
I
Yeah.
think it's like a lack of worrying. Like I'm looking at my life right now. I have like important dates approaching at work with a family member and everything, but anxiety is nowhere to be found. I don't know what's going to happen, how are things going to turn out, but that I'm just not worried about it. And it's just anxiety is outside of my body and outside of my mind, nowhere to be found. And it's like sometimes it feels irresponsible. I'm like, why am I not even worried about it? But I know it's fate in a sense that the hope there is that everything will turn out it's good, because I don't even know what to hope for, how would things should turn out for me, because I don't know what's best for me.
Right.
So all that responsibility is like dropped out of, like there's nothing I hope and I pray for, because it just,
Okay.
faith to me is like just lack of worry, basically.
Okay. Yes.
For me, I believe that faith is not needing to control things, that you can relax in it and say, whatever needs to happen is going to happen, and I'm going to be able to handle whatever that is. And sometimes it's not what I want it to be. So when I think about things and think I have to control it, I'm going to control it in a way that's going to be best for me. But I don't
Right.
know what's best for me.
That's right.
And so sometimes I need to learn a lesson. And learning the lesson may mean that whatever's going to happen is not going to be great, but I will learn from it. And so, and I've learned to pray to accept the things that I need to go through
Right.
and learn from them, and not always be trying to control. So people will say, put us in your prayers and pray that this is going to happen. And it's like, I honestly don't know if that's the best thing for you. I'll pray for you that you can, that what you need to learn, you will learn. What needs to happen.
Right, whatever God's will is.
Whatever God's will
Yeah.
is, that's the thing for, that's what I pray for.
Yeah.
And that you'll be able to get the strength you need to go through it.
That's right.
But I don't pray that somebody's going to get a job or get a car or whatever, because that may not be what God's will
I know
is.
they may get a car and then they get killed. They
Right.
kill themselves, and now you to blame. Because you prayed up a car. Good point. Real good point. Yes, sir. So, Ed, I have this for you now. When you get out of control,
Oh, I thought I was supposed to use it.
no,
I was going to say thank you. Now I won't.
that's right. Yes, sir.
One of the callers called into your show during the week and said something that kind of makes sense to where I agreed with was a lot of people think that when you have faith, it's more of a hope thing, or they kind of hope that that's going to happen or it's going to work out or whatever.
Right.
And they think that that's faith. And then the caller was saying that faith is knowing that, asking for something and knowing you're going to receive it, whatever that may be. So I think faith is more knowing opposed to hoping.
Well, hope is faith. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Hope is faith.
But is it like hoping that, but doesn't that kind of give room for doubt though, if you kind of
No,
hope?
it's not hope that you have in that fallen state. You know, when the lottery thing goes up to $8 million, you run out and buy truckloads of tickets and you're hoping to win. It's not like that kind of hope. All right. Faith is not doubting. When you don't have any doubt at all, you have faith. And what I want to do first is, I got a note from a person who emailed me, and he said, I finally got it. And so I want James to read that to you, and this is what faith is. It's so nice, is what faith is.
This was actually on one of your YouTube videos, a comment.
Oh, okay.
Escada said, okay, I think I just had a revelation. So you were born, you don't think about being born. You are growing up, you don't think about growing up. You start going through situations and
A
experiences.
little louder, James?
You start going through situations and experiences in life. You don't think about wanting to go into those situations. You realize you have to start taking care of yourself. You don't think about, should I take care of myself? You go to work and you do things because it requires it of you in this life. You don't think about, should I go get a job so I can eat and live?
And that's what faith is. It's just that simple. What happens is faith is not doubting. So when you have doubt, when you are a person who doubt, and all human beings in that fallen state live by doubt and not by faith. You can't help it because Satan is your father and he is a doubter. He's a liar. He is a deceiver. And so when you have doubt, you feel worried about things. You feel you become depressed. You feel anxiety. You feel doubtful that things are going to work out, so you try to make them work yourself. You feel the need for love. You feel the need to judge your fellow man. All of that comes from doubt. And so you can feel doubt. You can feel the spirit of doubt. But when you have no doubt, you have nothing there. Because you cannot feel faith at all. There's no feeling that comes with faith, right? Meaning that there's no doubt, no worries, no insecurities, no suicidal thoughts, no depression, no nothing when you have faith. And so, but what happens is when you overcome doubt, then it's paradise on earth. And you just live your life without thinking about living. And you just do what's in front of you to do without thinking about doing it. and you just deal with issues without thinking about dealing with issues. And it's natural. It is amazing. You know, I was telling, it's exactly what you were saying, and I was telling James this morning during our meeting that it's weird living without doubt, because it's almost like, it's like, let's say you don't know how to swim, and so you jump into the water and you just start swimming without thinking about it, right? You're in the middle of the pool, now you think about, hey, I'm swimming. And the moment you think about it, you sink. Well, faith is like, and so faith is like not having to think about it. And if you notice in life, when you think about it, you sink. You start to doubt it, you wonder about it, and worry. Well, faith don't have any of that. You're just, it's like peace. You're free of everything. And you find yourself just living, and you're like, wow, this is so nice. And the moment you recognize that it's nice, then Satan starts talking to you and makes you doubt. But if you just live and don't get into any talk about it or thinking about it, it's amazing how life is. And another thing I realized about faith is that when you're just living without faith, without doubt, there's nothing else that exists but whatever is in front of you. And so because of that, there's nothing to worry about, nothing to think about, nothing, because right in the very moment where faith is, which is where God is, everything is fine. You're dealing with everything perfectly without having to even think about it. So you got to overcome the doubt. You can't make yourself have faith, but when you overcome the doubt, then you have faith. And there's nothing that you can taste, feel, or touch. It's just something you live by. And it's so amazing to live by faith. But you got to get over the doubt. And the Bible says something like faith is the things hoped for, but the evidence are not seen, or something like that, right? And those are words, because that's what it is. But the spirit of it is what we're supposed to come to. We're supposed to come to the spirit of faith, our total belief in God. And here's how you come to it. It's so interesting. Should I tell you or have you guys tell me? Which is best? You tell us. I tell you. That's amazing. There is a story in the Bible about a guy, a son who left home. He thought that life would be better if he left his father and went out and did his thing.
Prodigal son.
Yeah, the prodigal son. Remember that? And so he's like, you know what? This is too good at home. I'm tired of my father telling me what to do. I don't need his example anymore. I'm going to go and do my own thing. And so he walked away from his father. And when he walked away from his father, a motorcycle went by with a lot of noise. But when he walked away from his father, he walked into doubt. He walked into a dark world. And in that dark world, he ended up in the pig pen because he didn't have the mind of his father anymore. He had the mind of the doubter. And so everything he did turned out wrong because he no longer had the faith. But the father let him go out and do it. You know, he let him go out and have it rough, have it hard, so he could realize what his relationship was like when he was with the father. So the boy is out there doing this thing, and he finally realized, I had it better with my father. And he returned back to the father. The father saw him coming, and he was like, hey, kill the calf. Here come Leroy. His son's name was Leroy. And Leroy returned to the father, and then he began to believe in the father again, and life started to be good. And so that's how you get faith. You got to return to the Father, and that's what salvation is about. That's what it means to be born again. It's a return to the Father, and once you return, you start to get rid of all this garbage stuff you picked up along the way when you're out there on your own. You know, lying, stealing, fear, doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, looking for love. Once you return to the Father and you relax in Him, then all those old habits you picked up start to disappear and life just blossom for you. And you just have faith in the Father, and you can't develop the faith. It develops on its own because you're back with the Father. Everything we do is spiritual, and there's nothing we can do but to return to the Father. It renews our mind. It brings us back to ourselves. We finally become ourselves, and we live a life of faith, never doubting. Never, ever doubting. And so that's what you got to get rid of, is the doubt. Faith is not doubting. And so you don't even think about anything else. You don't think, is this going to work out or not? You don't think, what does this person think about me? Or how do I look and how this? None of that is there anymore. You just realize at some point that all those things are gone. Isn't that nice? But it's not going to happen until you can return to the Father. Because God, the Father, is love. He is everything. And we got to return to Him. That makes sense? Any question about that? Yes, sir. It's so interesting to live a life free of doubt. Free of doubt. Get rid of the doubt. You can't do anything about the faith, but you can overcome the doubt. Yes, sir.
The problem for the doubter and the man of faith,
How
they
about
both
that,
have.
are you referring to yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
They both have the same problem, and that
Repeat
is
that. The problem is what?
the man of faith and the doubter both have the same problem.
What's that?
That is that they don't know something, whatever it is. And so the man of faith responds differently to that lack of knowing than the man of doubt responds to that lack of knowing. Is that right?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, when you don't know
Get outta
something,
here.
whatever it is, you know,
Leave, Satan. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
whenever you don't know something, the man of faith doesn't know. The man of doubt doesn't know
But
something.
a man of faith is not concerned about not knowing. Because there's nothing to know. What he needs to know, he know it for that present. He doesn't need to know anything else. It's not even a part of a man. A man with faith is not thinking about what he doesn't know. Because it doesn't seem as though anything is missing.
So you say the man of faith comes upon situations where he doesn't know something, but he does know? You know what I'm saying?
No.
It doesn't.
Repeat that again.
The man of faith
what?
comes upon situations where he doesn't know something in order to move forward.
Oh, I got an example. Yesterday, I went, we're going to eventually have to move out of here because they're going to tear the building down, make an apartment. So yesterday, I went and looked at a place, and I walked we saw a couple buildings. I walked into one, and I'm like, wow, this is it. This is what I want, right? But I don't know the whole situation yet, but I'm not caring about that. It's not on my mind or anything. I'm just taking one step at a time. I know I walked in a place that I want. That's all I know. And that's all I'm concerned about at this point. And then I got some more information on the people I can contact. So tomorrow I will contact them. That's it. That's all I need to know about it. I don't need to know ahead of time how it's going to go, because if I go ahead and worry about how it's going to go, I'm going to go into darkness. I'm going to go into doubt. And plus, ahead of time doesn't even exist. So now it's fine. I don't need to know anything else. And there's nothing in me that, like when I had the doubt, it will make me worry about what's going to happen, right? But with faith, it's not, there's nothing.
That sounds very practical and beautiful. But then why is it that men so much seek prophecy? They want to know what's going to happen ahead of time.
Because they're men of doubt. They have no faith. And God even says, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Don't worry about yesterday. Yesterday doesn't exist anymore. And so that's the illusion of their father, the devil. And they always want to know beforehand. It shows a lack of faith.
So when the generals back in, let's just say the Old Testament, because they dealt with the issues of faith and stuff.
Right.
When the general would seek the prophet, I was just reading a story about that. The king would seek a prophet's prophecy whether or not he should go into battle at all.
Right.
You know, was he going to win or was he going to lose?
Right.
And then, depending on the prophet, he could either be lying to him and telling him that, yeah, go ahead, the Lord is with you. And 400 prophets did that to a king. And one prophet said, no, you're going to die, you and all your men. And he, of course, threw him into prison, went off to the field of battle and died.
And what's your point to that, sir?
Well, it was just what I said earlier about, why people want to know ahead of time, why they want the prophecies. Because, the Christian world lives a lot by the prophecies and why they're so important and all this. And you're saying that prophecy is not important.
It's not something that we can live by. It's a prophet is just today could just point the way to find what you're looking for, because inside of all of us now we have the teacher, we have the Holy Spirit, we have the connection to Jesus and God by way of the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit would teach us and guide us and warn us. Where in the Old Testament they didn't have the Holy Spirit. If I'm going to war right now, I would go and ask a general who's been, has experience with war, what do you think I should do in a physical sense? But I would rely on God to guide me through it now. I don't have to ask some man, what does God want me to do? They didn't have that before. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Isn't this so good? Living by faith is, I wrote down some things about it. I said, heaven and paradise is faith living without thinking about living. You just do. You don't think about it at all. And it's like love. When you have real love, you don't have to think, I love this person, or I'm in love, but I have real love. When you have the real love that is not emotional, or you're not into your head about it, you can't feel it, taste it, or touch it, you don't think about, I have love, because there's nothing to think about. It's because you have peace. When you have perfect peace, you have no conflict. So what leave you is the conflict. And then what take the place of the conflict is the perfect peace. And there's no feeling of peace. It's just the absence of conflict. All the stuff you feel and think is coming from being separated from the source that brings you perfect peace. And I think people think that having faith is like having doubt. You got to feel something. You got to, like you were saying, think ahead, but you don't, because there's nothing to think about. There's literally nothing to, and there's not even a temptation to think about tomorrow. It really isn't. Yes, Brenda?
So you like for us to come in and tell you when we have what we feel is a dilemma in our life,
Right.
or something that we question. And Ed presented a story to me this morning that has got my brain running around. And the idea is that it really has nothing to do with me. I live in a bubble, and my life is a certain way, and I have faith.
Ed is her husband, for those who don't know who Ed is.
Okay, so he relates to me that in the fashion world, apparently this year, not only did they dress up women in beautiful clothing to show new clothing, they dressed men up in women's clothing and paraded them around on the stage.
Right.
And that has nothing to do with my faith at all. I don't need to deal with these people. So I finally just said, that's not something I want to spend my time thinking about, because it has nothing to do with me. But on a higher level, it feels wrong. And it feels like the world is just getting more and more about men being with men and women being with women and men dressing like women and all this stuff that feels so wrong. And
Yes.
yet it's not my job to judge those people. I am not in judgment of my fellow man. But people want to talk about these things, and they want to say, well, this is all okay. And it doesn't feel right, but I can't really defend my beliefs about. It's like I don't need to go there because it has nothing to do with my life. So I choose to just say, that really doesn't relate to me. But it seems like it's getting bigger and bigger. Like
Yes.
there are more and more and more people going in that direction. So this is bothering me.
And so, if I'm hearing you right, it's bothering you that he told you about it, you don't want to hear it, or is it bothering you that you see it getting worse?
It bothers me that I see that it's a growing issue,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
can't get, I can't get at peace with it. It's like, I feel like it's wrong, but yet you're supposed to love your fellow man, and you're supposed to accept your fellow man, and it's not, I don't want to, I don't want to put those people down. I feel bad for them. I feel like they're confused, but that's not what the world is telling me. The world is telling me that that's all right.
Right. Couple of things. The world is of the devil. Satan controls the world. And so they are doing that because he is causing them to bring destruction upon the world and hopes to destroy it. It is your concern because you are a Christian. You represent the light, you represent the truth, you represent the power to overcome evil. And so, and to love that, what you see, it just simply means don't hate it. Don't have a resentment toward it, don't be angry about it, and then you can see how to deal with it. And that's what they want you to do. They don't want you to, oh, it's not bothering me, it's not my life, so let them do what they want. A lot of the people who are caught up in that, they need a person like you to tell them the truth, but not judge them for it. Because one of the things that we're doing this year, our theme is to know thyself. As you get to know yourself, you see that you can't help yourself, that something else is driving you to do the things you don't want to do. And so they have the same problem. And you have a responsibility to point that out to them, and then that's it, because God will do the rest. But you should be concerned about it, and you should be involved. But just don't be angry about it. And that's what love is. Love is the ability to see what's wrong, see injustice, and deal with injustice, but don't be angry about injustice. Because if you become angry about it, it will take you over. You'll find yourself becoming attracted to it and find yourself doing it too. And so just don't be angry about what you see. I saw those guys who we were going to talk about on the radio show. They were dressed in drag. And what they're trying to do is destroy men, the children of the lie, because men represent God. They are the Christ on the earth. And so the evil that's working through them know that, even if the person doesn't understand what's working through them and why they hate men so much or whatever, even the spirit that's inside of them understands that. So the man represents Christ. And if they can destroy the man, they can destroy the women and children. It's going to be easy to take them out. And so they're doing everything they can do to degrade men. The worst thing you can do to a man is to turn him into a female. And Eva understands that because you weaken that man. He no longer has the authority of God working through him. So that's why they're doing that to men. And men don't understand. Even in the homes when the mothers destroy their sons, the mothers are destroying the sons because she hates the father. She hates the man. She hated her father. Her mother turned her away from her father. So she hated all men. And so even if they don't want to do it, that spirit of anger is making them do it to their own children, not understanding the depths of what's going on. So you have a responsibility to tell the truth to that, but just don't be angry at the person because they don't know. They can't help it. That make sense?
It does make sense. Thank you.
Yeah. And so love is just not being angry. You can see what's wrong, but don't hate what's wrong. Then you can deal with it properly. All right?
Thank you.
Isn't that good? It's good to know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so it does affect you. Believe me, it will. It just seemed to be far away from you. But they have taken God out. They're out of the school, out of the public square. Now we have a bunch of crazy people running around. Because if God is not in your life, you could be alive, but what's the purpose of being alive without God in your life? You don't really have a solid foundation to live on. You're walking dead. So tell the truth, just don't hate. All right? Yes, sir.
If you're still trying to overcome how do you will yourself to not be angry or mad about it and try to be something positive for that certain situation like she's talking about?
That's a good question. First of all, don't try to overcome. You never will.
Right.
All right? So if you don't try to overcome, but just watch the conflict, the war that's going on within you, watching it would cause you to overcome. Don't put any of your effort, your will into it at all. You become the observer of what's going on, and you will see, and then God will do the rest.
So like in that situation that she's saying, she's seeing it, and it could be natural to, in the fallen state, it could be natural to want to react to it and get mad about it. But how do you center yourself so that you can go about it the right way and be
Oh, that's right.
a representation?
If you're not a person who is seeking first the kingdom of God and his right way, you're not going to be able to do it. It'll take you over and wipe you out. And then you'll be marching with them too in a dress. But if you're seeking first the kingdom of God and his right way, then he will show you how. Even if you have not completely overcome the anger, but you will see it, but you will also know that you're angry about it, and you will still relax
Gotcha.
and speak the truth to it.
Right, right.
You won't try to run away from it, because when you're seeking God, you're always going toward the pain and not away from it. You're going toward the war that's happening inside of you, and not away from it, and that's what causes you to stand up.
Right.
You're facing your sins.
Okay.
That makes sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting. Let me take an online one.
Kenny says, I have anger. Is it for sure that if you forgive your parents, you will lose that anger?
Yes. Because you're never going to, ever, but never, you can hang it up, send it home. You're never going to be able to return to the Father and love him, God, with all your heart, soul, and might, as long as you have anger toward your parents. You got to forgive them. They couldn't help themselves. That doesn't mean you have to let them control you. It doesn't mean that they should be following you wherever you go. Just don't hate them. Just don't, forgive them so you can overcome them and become you. We're not supposed to be like our parents. We're supposed to be ourselves. And then the values that they set, if they were good values, we can live by some of those. But if you become yourself, you're going to return to the true values anyway. You're not yourself. And unless you forgive your parents, you can never love God. How can you love God who you've never seen but hate your parents? It's just not logical. So you got to forgive your parents, especially the father, but the mother too. And the reason I say especially the father, for men and women, if you don't love your earthly father, you're never going to love your creator father. It's just not going to happen. You can pray, you can go to church, you can read the Bible 2 or 3 times a year. You can lift up holy hands, you can give tithes and offering, you can feed the hunger, you can go downtown on Skid Row. But if you don't love your earthly father, you're never going to love God. You can pretend and try to get around it, all kind of stuff. You're still not going to have peace. It's just not going to happen. Before you enter into the kingdom of heaven within, you must forgive. They couldn't help it. And then he'll return you back to your father. You become yourself. And through your earthly father, you can go to God. It's amazing. And then life is just living. It's so simple. It's so easy that your mind can't even comprehend it. Your mind cannot comprehend living. Living is not a struggle. We are a living being, and so we're supposed to just live. Really. And have peace. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
You had, last week you got a question about being born again.
Right.
And you talked about forgiving parents. And this person online commented, I think the things you say to people are very helpful, Jesse. But being born again, isn't that a matter of accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior? After you get saved, God cleans you up, helps you to do the right things, helps you to forgive your father and mother, etc., right? I mean, being born
That's
again...
That's a leading question when you say, right?
I mean, being born again isn't first and foremost about forgiving your earthly father and mother. So
What?
that's it.
The last part?
Being born again isn't first and foremost about forgiving your father and mother. This person says it's a matter of accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
There is no one walking this earth, neither male or female, who have just accepted Jesus and were born again. Think about it. Before you enter into the kingdom of heaven, you must forgive. It didn't say, before you enter into the kingdom of heaven, you must accept Jesus. It said forgive, and the reason for that is because unforgiven spirit is the nature of your father, the devil. You are sons and daughter of him, and you're not going to enter into the kingdom of heaven with that hell in you. And so when you can admit that you have this anger in you, which is the nature of Satan, in that moment, and I mean, I don't like me admit it with your mind, because I can hear a lot of people admitting it right now, their mind, that's not going to work. When you can see it in your heart that you have this anger and just know that it's wrong and forgive, in that moment, you can enter in. He'll draw you in. And then you can accept Jesus. You'll see what Jesus, as your brother, you will see what he's done for you, how important he is, and how that he made it possible. But until you forgive, you're not going to have those experiences. You got to forgive. No angry person is going to get in. It's just because it's of the devil. Yes, ma'am. And then okay. And then I'll take you first.
As it relates to forgiveness for your parents,
Yes.
say you're in a situation where you've attempted that process and you're met with, like, I guess you would call it rejection, or
Right.
they're not willing to really dive in that conversation with you.
Yes.
Because sometimes I think it may just be a little too much for them, or they're just not ready for it at that time. So what would you recommend in that situation where you have, you're just not able, or I guess you don't know how to approach the situation?
Beautiful question. The blessing about this whole forgiveness thing is that you don't need them to apologize. You don't need them to admit that they have done anything to you at all. You need to forgive them because it's that anger that's holding you back from entering into the kingdom of heaven and having a life. And so God has it set up where even in the Lord's Prayer it says, forgive me as I forgive others. So when you go to your parents and say, you know what, daddy or mother, I've been resenting you all of my life because you were controlling, you were dominating. One guy called my show and said his mother would never, he always wanted his mother approval, right? And so whenever he went to try to get it, he was like, mother, you never given me an approval. So she would start screaming and yelling, what do you want? I've done what I could do. And so he walked away with the anger. But God has it set up for you to realize that just as you can't help yourself, there's bad things you do, you couldn't help it. Something else is driving you to do it, right? And likewise, your parents couldn't help themselves. And so you go to them and say, mother or father, I've been resenting you. I realize I'm wrong, and I'm sorry for that. Because anger is judgment, and when you judge, you're playing God, and when you play God, you're separated from the true God to become your own God. So you don't need that from them. You just go and apologize, and don't ask. Do not ask. Do not. Never, 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 ever, 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 ever ask them to forgive you. Do not, because the moment you ask them to forgive you, they take control of your life. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be trying to prove yourself the rest of your life. So God got it set up as you forgive them. I'm sorry for hating you. Then he will forgive you. Then you'll go free. So, that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. And it's, for me now, it's refreshing to hear that, because the reaction I'm having is because with what you explained to me, it's never been explained in that way.
Yes.
And it's so, because when I heard your message on that before, I guess my ears weren't ready,
Right. Right.
And the best way I can describe it is, I guess, your heart just, something's blocking your heart from being able to see and see what the truth really is. you know?
Yes.
And in that situation, I was trying to rectify something. But in doing it, I was being very judgmental.
Yes.
And pointing out every single thing that was negative and how it affected me and all that kind of stuff. It was a very selfish argument, now
Yes.
reflecting back on it, you know? And that wasn't right. So, like I said, just the way that you go about the solution, I've never heard that. And like I said, when I wasn't ready, it was like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
But the more I listen to it and reflect back, you know, where I know thinking in the past can really affect you too, but it's like, sometimes I feel like you have to reflect to really,
Yeah, you can reflect, but don't
Yeah.
think on it. Reflection is good, especially when you're trying to realize things, but just reflect on it and let it go. Don't think on it.
I got you. So don't let it really live in the
Right.
present that long. Just
That's right.
observe it and kind of, okay.
Move
all right.
on.
And that's the thing I was struggling with. And like I said, I just feel like my heart isn't in the place right now where I'm willing to accept that,
So you got it now, right?
yes.
Yeah.
I,
That's beautiful.
and it's, even though I feel like that, it's like, or I guess I'm going to say I know it. It's like that doubt still kicks in
This is
because I think on it.
right.
I think on whether or not I've reached the answer.
And your
So,
thoughts are not your own. Your thoughts are the thoughts of the deceiver. We don't have our own thoughts. We don't create thoughts. And prideful people like to believe that they are creators of thoughts, right? And so they're so stupid. So I say to the prideful people, okay, do you ever have bad thoughts? Yes. So if you're the creator of your own thoughts, would you ever create bad thoughts for yourself? You know, would you ever think, you know what, I'm going to commit suicide today? Pop a few pills and kill myself. You will always think, I'm going to live and live and live and have a good time. All thoughts would be good if you were the creator of them. But in that fallen state, the prideful state, people believe they create their own thoughts. They don't know that they're listening to their father, the devil. And that God's voice is a quiet, is a voiceless voice, is revelation. Just like you can see my point now, that's the revelation that's being revealed to you. I'm not revealing that.
Right.
The Father that's in you is revealing that to you.
And that's what I'm trying to really learn and understand. And, you know, because I want it to be more than just a little glimmer.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, I just don't want to keep soaking in and like absorbing all of the negativity anymore.
You're on your way. And that little glimmer that you have is like the
Yeah.
light way down the road.
Yeah.
And when you go and forgive, then that light will come and become one with you. It's one with, that's the only thing that's holding you back. You got to go and forgive. And forgiveness is, I'm sorry for being angry at you. I'm sorry for hating you. I realize you were wrong for what you've done to me, and I was a kid, I had to take it. But I'm wrong for being angry. That's why your spirit is still in pain. Because if you notice, when people affect you, the body heals, but the pain, the memory and the pain is still there because the spirit has not healed. And that's where the pain is coming from. And so once you forgive, then the spirit will heal and you'll be free. So will you do it now?
And see, what just happened? Like I wanted to say yes, but something's like say no. Because you're
Right.
buying more time. Just say no.
Right.
And oh my gosh, it's so crazy because now I can see it and I can
on.
recognize it.
I can now see.
So I'm working on the being able to fight it. Like right now, I was afraid to say yes. Like every time I hear you say forgive your parents,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I thought I did that already. But it was for something else, and it's like it's not really the
The real
foundation.
deal.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not really what's in me, that the spirit that's broken that you're talking about.
That's right.
It's like I can recognize when it's that and when it's not.
That's
And-
right. I love your language now. I can recognize, I
Right.
can see it. And in that moment you said that, I can see this thought telling me, don't say yes, you know, and all that crap. You can now see.
Yeah.
So you're on your way. You just got to do it. And you're going to shake in your boots.
That's how it feels. Like when you said it, I felt anxiety. And
Yes.
every time I hear you say it, I'm like, dude, nah.
Can you imagine that you're afraid to go and deal with your mama?
And that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one person I shouldn't be.
Right, that's
I
the one.
shouldn't be.
She had you. That should be like the easiest thing in the world to go say, "Mama, I hate you." And Mama would say, "You know what? I'm sorry, I was wrong." You know, you would be able to just do that. But Mama is like Hitler. You need everybody to go with you. You know. This guy called my show, and he said, "Jesse, I went and forgave my mother, but it was, what words did he use?
He was like going to God himself.
It was like going to God himself to do it. Because Mama is Hitler. But she doesn't mean to be in most cases. But what it is, the anger that you have is the offspring of anger is fear. It's doubt. You're afraid of who you hate. You know how men are afraid of women? Absolutely afraid of women. They'll rather jump in the ocean and drown than to stand up to a woman. And it's because they're afraid of their mothers. And every woman they get involved with is Mama. That's why he become a little boy. Because you cannot get away from the spirit that you hate until you overcome it, until you forgive. Then you will be naturally attracted to a different kind of a woman, and in a woman's case, a different kind of a man. Because women tell me a lot, I feel like my boyfriend is my girlfriend. It's like I'm dating my mama. Because he's attracted to the same spirit, and that mama spirit is in the boy too. And so, but when you forgive, God's going to take that away from you, give you back you, and then you are not attracted to that anymore. So you got to shake in your boots, and don't plan what you're going to say. Just know you're going to apologize, right? And so don't have a list of, I remember one time you whooped me for nothing. I remember one time you wouldn't give me dinner. I remember one time you went to church and left me and I wasn't dressed yet. And she's going to be like, what are you talking about? That's not the way to do it. You just go and forgive because you realize it's wrong, it's bad for you to hate her. And then God will free you up. It's so interesting, too, in that you said, you've never heard it put this way, right? But when we pray, we say in the Lord's Prayer, forgive me as I forgive others. It's nowhere in the Bible or in the prayer it says, forgive me as others forgive me. You notice that? And nowhere in the Bible where it says, go to the person and ask them to forgive you. It says, go and forgive them. And the reason he has it set up like that, because he knows that that ego in the person that you have forgiven will not forgive you. It'll try to control you. So he has it set up perfectly. Isn't that nice?
It's very nice.
Is this your first time here?
It is.
What's your name?
My name's Ashley.
And Ashley, how did you hear about us? How did you find us?
On YouTube.
Oh, right on for YouTube.
You guys are spreading like
YouTube,
wildfire.
Everybody and their mom on YouTube.
It's true. It's true.
That's great.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Oh gosh, I'm like, wait, how old am I? I just had a birthday, so yeah. But I'm 33.
Wow, you seem younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like, thank you, I think.
yeah. No, it's a good thing. But go and deal with your parents, your mother or your father, both. And don't argue with them. Let's say you go to the mama because the mother's hard. She doesn't want to hear it. And then let's say that she said, thank you, daughter, I'm sorry. Or, no, I didn't do it. Or if she fall out and die, you just find the insurance papers and go have a little cheap funeral and take the rest of that money to buy a house or some rental property or something.
I like to buy the rental property
Yeah,
thing.
buy the
That's
rental
good.
property. Do not have an expensive funeral. All right? Because mama like to have white doves. She want a long horse pulling the casket.
Yeah.
She want everybody boo-hoo and play How I Got Over. That costs too much money. And she want everybody to have on white gloves. Don't do that. I did a funeral for a good friend, and I had to take care of the whole thing. I did not know how the funeral people seduce you to buy all that stuff. So the funeral lady brought out this big, thick book. I'm sitting there, and she's like, what kind of funeral do you want? And she showed me all these beautiful things for a funeral. I'm like, and then they cost $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. I'm like, wait. I want a cheaper funeral. Don't you have a box? Can I just buy a box from you? And so she went way back and showed me the cheaper funeral. It was like almost $1,000, maybe $2,000, I forgot. But it was much cheaper because they were trying to sell me gloves and flowers and gold caskets. I'm like, this boy ain't even worth all that. I ain't doing that. And I was so glad because I learned from that. They kept the cheap book away from me and gave me the expensive book. And one of them told me, he said, had you been a woman, we would have been able to sell all that stuff to you. Isn't that something? So he knew what they were doing. I said, well, too bad for ladies. Ain't no way. Just imagine spending all that money on a funeral and the person dead, now the stuff is in the ground rotting, and you don't have any money. It doesn't make sense. No wonder Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. Okay. So you're back today, right?
Yeah.
How did everything go this week?
I got a call from my dad just right now. So,
Wow.
Yeah, thank God for
Jim,
that.
I bring me some water. My mouth is dry. You got a call from your father?
Yeah, I did.
And so what happened?
Well, I didn't have time to talk to him.
Oh, okay.
I
But he
didn't
called
have
you.
time to talk to him, but I did say, hey, thank you for calling me, but I will call you I'll call you back today. You're off today, right? He's like, yeah.
Right
off today."
on. See how things are opening up already?
Mm-hmm.
And did you deal with your girlfriend?
No, she's not.
Oh, that's your girlfriend? This is a mean one? You're the mean one. No. So did you, and I'll come to you in a minute, girlfriend. So have you dealt with your girlfriend? No, he's scared.
Yeah.
Pick up the mic, don't look like a little boy.
Yeah, you're right.
He
you're
like doing this. So for the audience, he was like this. So I said, did you deal with your girlfriend?
I'll say this.
So what happened?
I'll say this. She picked me up from work. She did. And I forgave her.
What'd you say?
I said, I forgive you.
Well, what?
Because I know I did you wrong.
What?
I know I did her wrong.
You forgive her because you know you did her wrong?
Well, here's the thing. Like you talk about.
You got a black girlfriend?
Yeah.
And you're Hispanic?
Yeah.
Lord. Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So she picked me up from work and, we were just talking and this whole week I was just reflecting on all the wrong things that I did, And maybe this is maybe I'm doing this wrong, but I have to forgive myself for doing those things because
Yes.
not only that, but if I think about them too much, and I know I did wrong, but if I keep thinking about them, I only put myself down.
Yes. That's right. You're judging yourself, and it's the same as judging your fellow man. The results are the same.
And here's the thing. And it's not just with my girlfriend, but
Billy, something wrong? Something wrong with the mic?
oh. Is it on?
Yeah, it's not.
No, okay.
You're about like 6 inches from your mouth.
Fix it right there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
So
Let me know if it's still a problem, Bill.
So the one thing I notice about not just my situation, but from the whole world is that, people will do good things, but but when they do bad things, everybody is like, oh my God, he did this
Yeah.
or she did this
People are
bad.
very judgmental.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the thing is that it's always going to be there, but you can't let it put you down.
What's always going to be there?
The bad thing, with me, the bad things that I did.
No, they're not. Believe me, once you forgive and God forgive you, He draw you in, it's going to be it's going to be as though you never done anything wrong. I was telling a friend of mine last night, I'm like, you know what? I can hardly remember the way I was before. And to me, that's amazing because the memories were always there with the bad things I did, and they reminded me and making me judge myself and just go to hell, right? But now I can hardly remember how I was before. And it's so amazing. So that's going to happen to you too. They're not going to always be there. That's not the God that you're going to. He's not a judgmental God. You've been lied to right now. That's not true at all.
I guess that was just me telling myself that.
Yeah, it was your father, the devil, telling you that. All right?
Yeah.
You got to stop listening to him. And so what did your girlfriend say when you said, I forgive you? So you were forgiving her for being angry at you for doing wrong? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I got you. And so how are you feeling today about everything?
About everything?
Yeah.
Just listening to you saying that don't worry about today, don't worry about tomorrow. I'm just sitting here going, because I'm just sitting here relaxed.
Yes.
A little bit nervous right now, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
But just relax.
Yes,
Because
sir.
God's going to take care of it all.
He really will. And then he's not going to take care of it the way you think he's going to take care of it.
Right.
Because Satan can't understand the mind of God. No one can. You'll just see. It'll just work out. So don't have any idea what he's going to take care of it means. Because that's another church saying, oh, the Lord going to take care of it, right? And then you have an idea how he's going to take care of it, which is all evil, all lies. You don't know, but he will take care of you. So, can she have the mic? I'm glad you came. I'm glad you're here to defend yourself. And so, you guys been dating for how long?
For almost 5 years.
5 years. And what is it that caused you to stay with him for 5 years?
Just hope and faith.
Hope and faith in what?
Just to make him a better person.
To make him a better person? That you hope and faith make him better, or you make him better?
It's kind of like being a role model to him. I want him to see the bright side of life
Right.
instead of dwelling on his past and his mistakes. And we're almost there.
You almost there?
Almost.
So you want to make him better, and that's why you're with him.
Yes.
Why do you think you can make him better?
I can make him better just with my personalities and my beliefs.
But
the positive side.
Is he angry at you for being mean and controlling and dominating?
I wouldn't say mean and controlling and dominating,
what do you
just
call it?
more responsible.
You call her responsible. So you think being responsible is what's ticking him off?
I don't know.
You don't know?
What do you mean, taking him
So
off?
you're trying to make him be responsible, right? And so the way you're treating him, you don't see it as being mean and controlling and dominating. You see it as trying to make him be responsible, right?
What do you mean and controlling? I'm not.
Trying to tell him what to
comprehending.
do, how to do, when to do it, if to do it, where to do it, and to do it.
I just want him to live his life instead of slacking off.
Right.
If he, with all his goals he wants to accomplish, I want him to trust in God and just do it instead of becoming fearful and thinking of his past coming back up and destroying that. And like I have told him, don't think about tomorrow. God's going to take care of it. Don't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. Just do your part today and finish out the rest of the day.
And so it hasn't happened completely, right? In 5 years?
I would say the first 2 years was great.
The
But
romance
from on that-
period is always great. But once the romance leaves, that's when reality sets in.
Exactly.
Let me tell you this. There is no way on hell or earth or heaven that you can make him better. I don't know. I know a lot of people, a lot of women especially, think I can make him better. I'm going to get this poor excuse of a man and I'm going to make him better, right? You can't. You're not God. All the thing you're going to do is turn him into a boy and make him hate you in the same manner that he hates his mother. I can't make him better. You can't. Only God can when he realized he needs to get over that weakness. Only God can do it. And then living with him in the wrong way or having the wrong type of relationship, and I don't want to get into all that, but having the wrong type of relationship with him is only making him worse and not making him better. He has to have self-control. He has to be mindful of what is right so that he can change. You cannot do that. You're wasting your time. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Because only thing a weak man would do with a woman that's trying to make him better is frustrate her. Because he's going to start being resentful toward you for trying to make him better. Because he's becoming a little boy to you. That makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. It does.
Yeah. And so you're not God. Don't ever believe you can make another person better. You can't. No words you can say, nothing you can do can make him better. Your responsibility is, you are a Christian and you love God, to live upright and be the light that he can look at. And maybe one day he'll overcome. If not, you can walk away from it. But you got to be doing right and be right. That makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Women, you can't make a man better? That's so crazy. I don't even, like some things, like when I was crazy, and I used to be like the worst of the worst, some of my craziness, I knew it didn't make sense. You know, like, this doesn't make sense. I can't help it, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so you got to know that you can't make another human being better. It's a spiritual thing. He is a spirit, and you can't make a spiritual thing better. You just have to be an example. All right? Did you forgive your mother?
My mother?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I
You
don't
know-
think there was nothing to forgive her. I always loved my parents.
You always what?
I always loved my parents. I
You
have a
like being
wonderful
like your mother?
I'm sorry?
Do you like being like your mother and not yourself?
No.
You don't have any traits of your mother?
A little bit.
And is one of them, the mother always try to make people to be the way she wants them to be?
That's one of her traits, yes.
I'm sorry?
That's one of her traits, yes.
And did you notice that it didn't work when she tried it on you?
Yes.
And so, have you wondered, now, how did I become like my mother? I didn't like it when she tried to make me be something I didn't want to be. And now I'm doing it to my boyfriend. I didn't like it. How did I become this way? And of course, my boyfriend is not going to like this. Have you ever thought about that?
I have.
And then what you come up with?
It's the difference between me and my mother. I'm the more, I would say, more
A
inspiring
little
way.
louder for me?
More inspiring.
Oh, your mother
More-
thinks she's inspiring too. Ask your father.
He won't tell you the same.
You need to forgive your mother for doing that to you. The reason you took on those things because you resent her. You're angry at her, and you became angry as a kid because she imposed her will on you, just as you imposing your will on him. And you need to forgive her so God can take her spirit away from you, so you can be you. And the real you would never impose on another person. You'll give them the space to be whatever they want to be and have no opinion about it. So you got to go and face her and forgive her so you can become yourself, because you're never going to be happy trying to change a man. That man will forever resent you. That make sense?
It makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
Does.
And will you go and forgive her?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand now how to do it? And she says, I'm sorry for being angry at you. You were controlling. I become like you. I'm doing it to my boyfriend. I'm just like you. I hated that when you did it to me. I realize now, just like you can't help yourself but do it to him, she couldn't help herself. So I realize you couldn't help yourself, and I'm sorry for holding that against you. And then God will forgive you, and things will change just like that. Will you try that?
Yes.
Are you afraid to face her?
No, not at all.
You're not afraid to say, I'm sorry for being angry at you?
No, I always apologize when we argue or if anything.
No,
'Cause-
that's not the same thing.
Mhm.
That's not the same thing, though. You're going to forgive her so you can go free. You can return to the Father. Are you close to your father?
Yes, very close.
How come he didn't stand between you and your mother so she couldn't do that to you? Why he didn't protect you from her?
He has. That's why I have more of his personality and his ways of life
Yeah.
rather than
Good.
hers.
Yeah.
Hers
Well,
is more controlling, like puppet controlling.
Yeah.
My type of controlling is for better. It's not like I'm saying, hey, jump right now. It's more of doing it the right way,
Yes.
which is the positive way.
Right. I can tell you have good intention. I can see you mean well, but you're not going to be able to be good to him with the spirit of your mother inside of you, because you're doing the same thing, and he's going to resent you for it, and you're going to make him, and then he'll start controlling everybody, telling them how they be. All right?
Right.
Let me know how it goes with your mother. And
I
if you
will.
need me, I'll come and help you. And I bet you she's a Christian, right?
She is.
The worst kind. All in the name of Jesus. But forgive her, she literally can't help it. All right? And leave him alone. Meaning, stop telling him what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to go, what to do. Stop being a mama. All right?
I will.
Okay. So don't say anything. Put tape around your mouth. Because the devil's going to try to make you say something. You're going to be trying to hold back. No. Say it. No. Say it. And then you say it and all hell will start over again. But let him grow up. He need to grow up. And you can't make him grow up. And believe me, I can tell he's on his way. Because he's so honest about himself. He wants to get better. So he knows there's a problem. He wants to get better. He's going to be fine. But I want you to stay out of that. All right?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anything I've said to you that you disagree with?
Nothing at all.
So you're not going to curse me out? I
the
can't
type.
believe that man telling me my mother. And what did you tell him last Sunday? You talking about me? I'm never going back to that church. No, he didn't talk about you badly. But he said enough for me to know. No, I'm kidding. But let him go, all right? Let him go.
I will.
Don't do that. And just be the right kind of one. Work on your own life. And if God has planned for you guys to be together, it'll happen naturally. You won't have to give up anything. All right?
Okay.
I'm glad you came.
I work every Sunday, so it's
Yeah.
been hard.
Right. Well, I'm glad you made it today. All right? We're like totally out of time, huh? Amazing. We're like totally out of time. Let me just say, thank you for tuning in. I highly recommend you do the silent prayer. I have a silent prayer on my website there, rebuildingtheman.com/church. Do it, download it, and do it. And if you do that hooping and hollering prayer and stuff like that, keep hooping and hollering. Do that first, and then sit still and know God. And then you'll see which way to go, all right? We need your support. We absolutely need your support. We need your donations, all right? We do counseling. We have the best counseling service on this side of heaven. You might need 2 sessions, but one most of the time works, all right? So thank you for tuning in. And thank you all for coming today. I absolutely appreciate it. So,